would you like to quote £120,000 worth of work? At which point, they obviously said yes, because they don't want to kill the relationship, but in their hearts, they were like, God, no. Today I'm on my way to see an engineering company, a really good engineering company. They do high-spec work in small batches, and their customers include marine organisations, automotive, all the sectors where your quality control has to be out of this world. And actually, they also do Formula One cars, parts of them. So, always an interesting meeting. The first time I met them was about 7 years ago, and I met 3 directors at that meeting, and we talked about board functionality. So, pretty much how well they work together. And there were 3 directors that day, and there's 2 directors now, and that's quite typical of a board functionality process. I'll be talking about websites with them and marketing. They're always very busy, and it nags them that they don't get more customers or new customers. They rely on their old ones, and that is the challenge I'll be given today. Find Okay, I'm just leaving my meeting with the engineering company. It was more complicated than I anticipated. I thought I was going to turn up and update a few pages and touch base, but I've not seen him for a year, doesn't seem that long, and quite a lot has happened. For a start, he turned up with his son, who wasn't in the business last time, who was sales background, and brought customers with him from where he used to work, which of course is part of the course when people leave companies, they take customers with them. And very interesting, these markets changed completely. I mentioned Formula One and high spec work and, well, amazing engineering really, and they are still doing that, but they're moving into a more, what's the word, simple engineering sector, market, because there's money in it. He said to me, we've been splitting the atom for decades for pennies. Now we're making more money doing basic engineering. But they have a fantastic reputation, right? That's why they get good value jobs for basic engineering, is because their CV is second to none. And their reputation is second to none. So, here was the technical issue, or marketing issue really. They had 2 websites. That's my fault. Pretty much. Which is when I met them, he had quite an old website he built himself, which worked pretty well, to be fair. Built with a certain software package, like one of those automated DIY ones. And I said, I will do some email marketing for you, but I won't do it using that site, because I didn't think it was high enough design value. I don't think it was direct enough for the email campaign. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll put together a WordPress site just for the email campaign. I won't charge you extra for it. But if I'm going to send out some emails, you'll judge me on how many sales you get, and I think to use your current website won't help me prove the value or get you a result. So that's what I did. I built him a second site. It's kind of contrary to what you should do. You don't want 2 domain names, and you don't want split brands and all that kind of stuff. But he didn't want to get rid of the old one. I didn't want to use the old one. Built a new one. That was over a year ago, and that worked. We did the email marketing campaign, and he got contracts out of it. And like today, he said he was very happy with that. But that's not ideal. And so we were consolidating the brands today. And the dilemma was, there's my old site under that domain name. Here's the new one you built under that domain name. Which one shall I get rid of? Bearing in mind his old site has all the emails and all the rest of it. And what he said was, because the old site has all the Google ranking and I don't want to lose it. So let's go and have a look. So we go onto Google, and I type in target search phrases for his sector, and he's nowhere. And he's nowhere because Google has changed. And whereas organic search results used to be critical, and they still are for national businesses, they're not now. Because if I'm targeting a local market, and by local I mean towns, or even counties at a push, then Google's changed the entire structure of the search results page. And we did it. And so I put in whatever, location, and at the top are paid ads. You know, like the featured at Google AdWords paid ads. 3 of them. Down the side are loads of more Google ads for local search. Because it's cheap, right? Local search cheap on Google AdWords. You just check. Go onto Google AdWords, put in your local search for your market, and see how much it is per click. Because not many people want it, it won't be that expensive. Underneath the Google AdWords links, Google Map, dominating. Google Maps page, you know, with the, which I've mentioned before, with the balloon on. And 3 results on there. Well, I'm 3/4 of the way down the first page for results on these target terms now. And I haven't even got to the organic search results, like the search engine optimization element. And then I see those in the bottom third of the page. Well, whatever. You see how, what's the word? How the market's changed for local searches on Google. Search engine optimization, whatever. You know, I've just, on the top 2/3 of the page, I saw exactly what I wanted, so I'm certainly not going to bother. Well, it's not as critical. And it's certainly not as critical for how they get business, which is traditionally. By that I mean, they ring people up. They email people and they proactively contact customers and say, I can help you. Then they send them to the website to check them out and convert them. So search engine optimization on a local market basis, you know, don't get obsessed with SEO, search engine optimization. Get a Google Plus page, make sure it's set up properly so you're in the map results, and get some cheap Google AdWords and you'll own that page, pretty much. So that was a long-winded way of saying his objection that my old site has Google ranking was completely wrong. It's not his fault, he didn't know, because Google has changed. But after about 5 minutes, we established that actually we can get rid of that site, it's no loss. We'll keep the domain name and use the new design. Or should I say, rather than no loss, it's low risk. It's not going to lose you any business, I think. I'm confident. And so that was the first thing we decided. Then we talked about WordPress and how to update the site, because they'll be doing that, not me. Gave them a quick training session on how to use WordPress, which you can do pretty much half an hour, 1-to-1. At least enough to change pages and so on. And obviously said get a Google Plus page, obviously. And again, easy, right? Free, quick. Go onto googlemybusiness.co.uk, set it up, done, on local search results. And then we briefly talked about social media and whether it was worth doing, and they don't really do any. So I think it is. Which brings me back to something that happened yesterday. And I didn't do a video yesterday because I didn't have my camera with me. But I went to see a business, a cabinet maker, who I did some work for 4 weeks ago, trying to recruit someone. And I basically went onto a social media scheduler, like Hootsuite, but you know, others are available, and set up 2 months of posts which put up a nice picture of their work and said, job vacancy. They weren't sales posts. Okay. So we'll put them out, you know, someone might see it, they might know someone. At the very least, you remind some people you exist. And that was that. So I go back yesterday, 3 or 4 weeks after the event, 2 or 3 weeks, I walk in and go, how's it going? And there were other stuff going on, like, they're so busy, they're a bit stressed out. But I said, oh, it's been interesting, that social media. I go, all right, what happened? I said, well, someone rang us up about a job we did 10 years ago, because that was the photo, and said, this is what's happened since, and it's really nice to hear about it and re-engage with them. I go, oh, well, that's good. And then said, someone else rang up and said, you know, I'd like this bill, this was a walk-in wardrobe actually, said £16,000 worth we thought we'll quote, because we didn't really want to do it, but we'll quote that, and then we got that. They looked a bit stressed about it, to be honest, because they're already overrun with work. So, oh right, that's really good, with no calls to action in your post. You know, it didn't say ring me, I want to sell you something, it just said, you know, recruitment, but their work's so good, the photos are so good. And then finally they said, oh, and this big design agency, one of the biggest design agencies in Britain, they saw us, we haven't worked with them for 10 years, and they emailed us and said, you know, would you like to quote £120,000 worth of work? At which point they obviously said yes, they don't want to kill the relationship, but in their hearts they were like, God no, because they're overrun. They don't have enough capacity to do the work. But that's interesting, isn't it? Because anybody in any sector, I mean, this is like a manufacturing, engineering sector we're talking about. When they say to me, I don't know whether social media is worth it, and I saw something on LinkedIn yesterday which said the only people who make money off social media are Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn. What a load of rubbish. I meet loads of people who make loads of money off social media in terms of lead generation. That's just garbage. However, I'm sure people responded and he got some work from it. But, to cut to the chase, should you be doing social media in the engineering manufacturing sector, which doesn't necessarily sound like a consumer-driven world? Well, they sent out 8 posts in 3 weeks and have quoted £120,000 worth of work from customers they'd never known before. And so, I'll let you draw your own conclusion, but my view is yes. And that's where we landed. One website, one brand, update, WordPress training, do social media, local searches, local markets, get a Google Plus page.